Well, good afternoon, trading family. Things are looking pretty positive. And if you'll remember, both on the SPY and on Bitcoin, I have been trying to keep you all up to date on a potential head and shoulders pattern that looked like it could play out. And now it's looking like it may not. Of course, we could just be dealing with an extended right shoulder, but we'll discuss that and also what I'm seeing on the other charts in today's video. All right, so I'm jumping right into the SPY chart because I've been tracking this kind of coincides or correlates with the Bitcoin chart. Some people like to track the NASDAQ because that's more of a tech stock, but I've noticed a strong correlation with the SPY. And anyways, the SPY and the other indexes as well as Bitcoin. So you can see here on this chart, let me zoom in here a little bit for you, that I had drawn a potential head and shoulders pattern. Now, at first on the SPY, it looked like this head and shoulders pattern was going to play out. In that case, our target would have been not much further down, but that pink trend line. Very significant support there, either that or the liquidity block. And you can see the point of control from the VRVP running right through that liquidity block. But in this case, the market is still pretty bullish. So all we actually did was fill this gap, and then the bulls were ready to run again. I posted on that day that our gap had been filled, and I think I posted it both on TradingView and on my site that this was a good place to start dollar cost averaging in case we didn't go all the way down to our target, which had strong support down here. So hopefully you all were able to take advantage of that advice and dollar cost average in if you did exit. Now, you'll remember I exited target one over here right around 563. I bought back in down here, and that was a good trade. I did not exit upon our reach of target number two because, again, I was expecting mostly sideways movement. Actually, it was right here when I made my first posts about reaching target two. All right. And then we came down and we went back up and came down. It's basically been sideways action. All right. So I did not actually exit upon reaching target number two. The risk just wasn't worth the reward to me. But some of you may have exited at target number two, depending upon what your trade strategy was. And so here at this gap fill was an excellent place to start dollar cost averaging back in. And hopefully you all were able to do that. Now, again, I believe I said in this introduction that we could simply be looking at an extended right shoulder, okay? So until we actually break the previous pivot high on our head, this head and shoulders pattern is not really invalidated. But it is looking super optimistic. And should we continue to ascend higher, we would continue through that target number two until we reach target number three, my final target, around 670 to 700. And at that point, my best guess is that this secular bull run, zoom out here to the monthly, that has basically taken place, started in 2009. So it's been on, we've been in the secular bull run since 2009. And I think once we reach that final target, which is a blow off top of a larger Elliott wave pattern I do not have drawn on this chart, and once we do reach that final target, I think the end of our secular bull run may be ending. Of course, we've got a long ways down just to reach this line here. And so to signal an end, we'd actually have to break this support. So I'm not going to call it the end of the secular bull run yet, but a lot of pain will be ahead once that final target is reached for those that don't decide to sell at that point. All right, and that's all I'm going to say about that. So be ready to, take out profits at that final target of 670 to 700 on the SPY. All right, I'm going to jump to the Bitcoin chart because that looks relatively similar. All right, and I posted this, and first I posted a caution about this head and shoulders pattern. And you can see I've already drawn the extended version of this right shoulder. Originally, it was just this area here that the right shoulder entailed. And until we break this previous pivot high at around 109, and this still could be considered a right shoulder. So we still, caution is still warranted. However, I did follow that up and say I spotted a bullish triangle here, a bullish wedge, which we have just broken out. That's why we're seeing just a big bullish reaction right now. But again, this still could be a right shoulder. I'm optimistic, and of course you guys know that follow me and follow my trades know that I was 100% in both crypto and stocks, and simply my caution was to set those stop limits accordingly, so that if we did break this neckline here, this pink slightly ascending trend line, which is really a trend line that I drew from our April 2021 high to November 2021 high, and I've just simply extended that, and it's proving to be a true resistance slash support. It was resistance here in November, and then we broke above it, and it's remained support ever since, and it helped us to create actually that head and shoulders pattern, which now I'm being optimistic. I'm thinking this head and shoulders pattern is hopefully going to fail, although I can't call that yet, because remember guys, 85% of head and shoulders patterns do play out. All right, so it's a probability that you generally don't want to bet against. You really just want to adjust your trades accordingly in case it does. All right, so anyways, good day today on both Bitcoin and the SPY. I'm not going to extend this video very long, but I do want to jump into the Bitcoin dominance chart and see what I see here. I haven't really looked at this chart since the last time I made a video for you guys. All right, so anyways, this is a 1.5 year long bearish ascending wedge. We broke below that, and then the bulls came back, and I anticipated we would retest that, the underside of that. We actually went in that for a little bit. But on the weekly, that's probably, I'm going to guess that's just a wick inside of this. Let's zoom out to the weekly just to see if I'm correct. Well, not really a wick, but there is no confirmation of entry back inside of this. So we can consider that a clean retest. Actually, that's technically almost perfect. All right, zooming back out to the daily here. So we're still on the underside of this wedge, but I'm guessing now this is looking like it's turning into an M pattern on Bitcoin dominance. If you guys can see that, I'll draw it out for you real quick. All right, so here you've got your M pattern, and we are looking like this is going to be bearish for Bitcoin dominance. Now, that doesn't mean it's bearish for Bitcoin. It just means that altcoins at this point are going to outperform Bitcoin. And that totally makes sense because we have not had altcoin season yet. So that would definitely be good for altcoins. Okay, what's NVIDIA doing? Since that is, the market likes to... So NVIDIA, this is interesting, has fallen below this significant trend line and confirmed. All right, previously we did not confirm. We came below it, came back above it, below it, back above it. No confirmation on the daily. This is confirmation. So NVIDIA, you should start to see maybe weakening a little bit. Maybe it just goes sideways. Really is going to be a battle to get past 150, and I wouldn't want to be I wouldn't necessarily want to be entering at this point on NVIDIA. So it could just be a matter of sideways price action for the next few months or so, and maybe slightly downward. I don't know. I haven't really looked at this chart long enough to analyze it. Don't see anything here that would tell me anything other than this point of control way down here at 90. So a lot of times that acts as a magnet. Maybe we could come back down to 90. I don't know. That's a long ways down. But at any case, this wouldn't be a place I go long. I might hold my position and adjust my stops, but I wouldn't be entering here on NVIDIA. Okay, let's take a look at total 3 and maybe our VIX and US oil. All right, so total 3, previously I drew this. I think in the last video I talked about how we were could break to the upside of this bullish wedge, and I anticipated what the price action might look like. All right, it was a little bit early. We dipped a little bit before my indicator, and that's fine. I still think once we reach this 1.13 trillion market cap, I think we're going to pause here a little bit. All right, so it's going to be a slight pause and maybe a little bit of pullback, just like this pattern I drew previously indicated. I'll move it over here now so it makes more sense. I do think we'll pause a little bit there, but once we break that 1.13 trillion, it is all moon from there. US oil, I know I'm jumping from stocks and commodities and crypto, but this all is related, guys, as you know from watching my videos. All right, so oil has gone above this line of resistance. It has increased in price, and that tends to weigh on the market a little bit as well. So if we're taking oil, which leads energy, and we're taking NVIDIA, which leads the Mag 7, if we're taking what I'm seeing on those charts into account, then it is possible here that this right shoulder could still be valid, and maybe the market sells off after Trump inauguration, and we actually do come back down and hit our target here at 563. It's definitely still a real possibility, and so don't count that out yet. Just continue to dollar cost average back in as we decline, because I really don't see us breaking 563. So I think you can continue to enter long when you get another dip, if you get another dip. If I'm reading the charts right and looking at US oil and NVIDIA, and also just even the SPY chart here, still a very real possibility. All right, VIX is back down into low range, and so that's looking good. And the only other thing we haven't looked at yet is the US dollar. What's the US dollar doing? All right, so you can see my dots here from my proprietary indicator. We've got 5 sell dots in a row. The dollar is really moving higher and higher, and that's unanticipated. All right, we have not been expecting that. Of course, I drew this W pattern. I was definitely expecting us to go to 105.6, but now we continue to climb this ladder and got some major resistance up ahead. If we even, I don't see us going that high with all of these sell dots, but the dollar has been surprising me for the last few weeks. This white descending trend line, guys, this comes all the way from 1982. I will bet $1 million we will not go above that. I mean, that's how strong and significant that trend line is. All right, so that's quite a ways up, but again, the dollar has continued to surprise me from the 105 level with its strength, showing 5 sell dots in a row here. One of them in a liquidity block. Again, when I get a sell dot inside of a liquidity block like this, that is at 90 to 95% probability we will sell. Of course, we did sell. All right, so that's still true. But then we hit this, buy liquidity block, really my 105.6 level, and bounce strongly from there. All right, so again, what I'm looking for are these liquidity blocks with a sell dot inside of it. You've got a 90-95% chance that that it will sell from there. These other dots here, I pay attention to them, but they're not definitely as significant as this. All right, so look at this. When we had our my indicator flash the sell dot inside of this liquidity block, look what happened to the dollar. All right, and again, on the vice versa is true. We had a green dot inside of this liquidity block, and you can bet your bottom dollar we're going to go up, and sure enough we did. All right, so I love this indicator that I had. Claude helped me out on this code for me with PineScript. All right, so a very, very good indicator. I'm very pleased with this indicator, and those of you guys who have been following me and tracking my trades know that we're at a high success rate, much higher than I was before, just using patterns and my experience. This indicator has just blown my mind. So it's changed a lot. All right, guys, I think I'm going to be done with this video for today. Don't really have anything else to add. Just pay attention to those head and shoulders patterns, both on your SPY chart here. All right, it didn't show up because my window is a little bit smaller. All right, pay attention to that. Draw that head and shoulders pattern out. Watch it closely, and also on your Bitcoin chart. All right, we have both charts showing very similar price action. And that is why I track the SPY, because they do correlate a lot closer than many people realize. Till the next video, guys. Peace, y'all.